Hi first grade, it's Miss Martin here. Welcome back for lesson 9 for our math. We are almost done with our time unit. Next week we're going to be doing our review, and then we also are going to be taking our math test. So it is crucial that we are watching these videos and paying attention and making sure that we are getting these right. So first things first, we're going to do a quick little review. So remember that my little hand is my hour hand and my big hand is my minute hand. And then also when I am doing when I'm writing on a digital clock, I don't really have minute hands or hour hands. I just have my time. So right now it is 2:30 right now. So if I wanted to do 2:30, this is what 2:30 would look like on an analog clock, which remember is this type of clock. And if I wanted to write 2:30 on my alarm clock, I'm going to draw an alarm clock real quick. Here's an alarm clock. If I wanted to write 2:30, remember I would do 2 and then 3, 0, just like how you would write it if you were doing this normally, okay? So you need to remember that we need to keep this in mind when we are, because today our lesson is all about writing our analog clock and on a digital clock. Okay, so we need to make sure that we keep these two. We understand that this one is an analog clock, this is a digital clock, and how we can tell time like that. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to flip back to our math page and get it so you can see it. Remember, the first thing that we need to do is put our name up at the top. So Miss Martin is not going to use this dark marker because that did not work out very well yesterday. I am going to use, let me see, how about, see if you can see this pink one. Oh, not this pink one, I lied. We're going to try this blue one, see if we can work with this blue one again. So make sure you put your name and your number up at the top, nice and neat, so Miss Martin can read it when you turn it in. Okay, so here we go. Let's see, what are they going to have us do? So we have someone who has a watch and the time is on the wall and it says the class went to the library at 1:30. They want us to use our clock and to show, ooh, sorry, that was really loud. They want us to use our clock to show 1:30 and then they want it to write us on our analog clock and on the digital clock right here. So 1:30, it's a little bit easier, remember, to write it on our digital clock. So what am I going to write for 1:30? I know that my hour is 1 and my minute is 30. So this is what I should have for my digital. If I'm showing 1:30, it should have a 1.30. And remember, for our analog clock, here we go, get all nice and close with that. There we go. For our analog clock, what it wants us to do is tell 1:30. So this is what 1:30 looks like, and I know that this is 1:30 because it's in between. I know that it's 1 because it's in between my 1 and my 2. It's not quite at my 2, it's most likely in between it. And I know that the time is 30 because my minute hand, which is my blue hand or my long hand, is pointing all the way down to my 30, to my 6. So I'm going to make my clock like this look just like this because I need to make sure that my little hand is pointing not quite all the way up there, but my minute hand is going all the way down. Just like that. Okay, that's all you're doing for these. Literally, that's all you're doing. You're just going to write. They're going to tell you what time, and they want you to write it on the analog and on the digital clock. Let me straighten this out. Ziggy's being crazy today. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to flip it over to this side. And they said, here in the box it says, you can tell time to the hour and the half hour. So, look at this clock. Do you see how each little hump is 5 minutes? Just like when we have it written on the outside of our clock, when we have, you know, ... 0, ... 05, ... 10, ... 15, ooh, not 30, 20, 25, and then all the way around. So it's just like that. It has 5 minutes. Okay? So our hour here is pointing, our hour hand is pointing right at the 9. So we know that it's 9, and it's our blue hand is pointing right at the 12, which is 60, or also 0, 0. So we know that that is 9 o'clock. Now we know that it's 9:30 because our hour hand is in between the 9 and the 10, and our minute hand is pointing at the 6. And I know from yesterday that if my hour hand is pointing at the 6, then that means that it is 30. It is half past. So I know this time is 9:30. Okay, now let's go ahead and move down to number 1, and we're going to do these 1 and 2 together. So they want me to tell 11:30 on my digital and on my analog clock. 11:30. So look at, they already gave me my hour, but they need me to put my minutes in. So I know that if it's 30, remember up here, I know that if it's pointing to the 6, it's 30. So I'm going to put pointing to the 6. Then I'm going to draw a little arrow, and we're going to put 30. Because if it's pointing to the 6, then it's 30. Okay? And they need us to be 30. So what number am I going to point at? I'm going to point it at the 6. So we got that done. And remember when I was telling you yesterday how when we have a clock like this and they want us to write it on a digital, it's literally just writing it the same. So they want us to write it on our digital clock right here. But boys and girls, look it, they already did it for us up here because they already gave us what it's going to look like on our digital clock. Because it's 11:30, so you can go ahead and fill in 11:30 in our digital clock because it's already all right up here, and we already have it on our analog clock. Look at that. Okay, now a couple of these other ones are going to have ones like this where it tells you what the time is. It's not going to write it out like a digital. It's going to actually have the words written out for you. So you need to make sure that you're reading carefully and you're sounding out the words. So number 2 is 5:30. So I know again from yesterday, half past, this is actually from Monday, half past is 30 minutes. Half past means 30 minutes. So if it's already pointing at my hour hand, so they already gave me my hour, but where am I going to put my minute if it's 5:30? Half past is 30 minutes. Which one of these is 30 minutes? Well, let's look back over here. Pointing to the 6 equals 30 minutes. Actually, I'm going to put min here so we know it's 30 minutes. So I'm going to point my minute hand all the way down here to the 6 because I know that that is ... 30. So if it is 5:30, what hour is it? What hour is it? If it's in between the 5 and the 6, is it 4 or is it 5? Or is it 6? It's closer to it's in between the 5 and the 6, so it's 5. And then my minute hand is pointing to the 30. 5:30. Okay? That's all they want you to do for these. They want you to make sure that you're reading I want you to make sure that you're reading carefully for every single one of these. Some of them are trying to trick you. Tell the worksheet, say you can't trick me because they're trying to trick you. Okay? So look at number 3 right here. See, they give you the time, so they need you to write the time on the digital and analog clock. Number 4, they gave you 9 o'clock. You have to write it down. You have to make sure you're putting the minute hand in the right place, boys and girls. Okay? So I want you to go ahead and do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this whole on my own page. Flip it over. I want you to do 9 and 10 and the right math problem. Okay? How many minutes after the hour does this clock show? So I just want you to read the clock and tell what time it is. Okay? Please make sure you are ready nice and neatly. And I hope that you all are doing so well. I'm excited to see how you guys are doing. And I will see you guys soon. I'll see you next week for some math.